Welcome to Buried Evidence, a true crime podcast. I'm your host, Katie. This episode contains graphic descriptions of violence, specifically domestic violence, and mature subject matter that may not be suitable for all audiences. If you or someone you know may be a victim of domestic violence, the National Domestic Violence Hotline number is 1-800-799-SAFE. Listener discretion is advised. According to the National Domestic Violence Hotline, 58% of college students reported not knowing what to do to help someone who's a victim of dating abuse, and 57% of college students reported having a difficult time identifying dating abuse. Tragically, 22-year-old Yeardley Love, an elite college lacrosse athlete with her entire future ahead of her, would become a victim of domestic violence at the hands of her on-again, off-again boyfriend, George Huguely V. Friends, family, and Yeardley herself all saw warning signs. But at the time, much like the statistics cited, they didn't recognize the seriousness of the situation until it was too late. Yeardley Love was born on July 17, 1987, in Baltimore, Maryland, to Sharon and John Love. She also had an older sister named Lexi that, in pictures, they could have almost passed for twins. Sadly, when Yeardley was in 8th grade, their father died of cancer. But the loss would draw Yeardley, Lexi, and their mom together in an extremely tight bond. Yeardley's father had been an alum at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville prior to joining the military. And one summer, when Yeardley's sister attended a camp in Charlottesville, the family drove her down together. And so it goes that after that trip to Charlottesville, at the age of 10, Yeardley had decided she was going to play lacrosse for UVA in college. That was her dream. And with steadfast determination, that is exactly what she did. In high school, Yeardley attended Notre Dame Prep, where she became a standout lacrosse and field hockey player before being accepted to the University of Virginia to play on the women's lacrosse team. Standing at 5'6" and just 115 pounds, Yeardley was a force to be reckoned with on the lacrosse field. Her coaches said she always gave 100%, and her teammates described her as a bulldog on the field. They were amazed that with her small stature, she was capable of being such a fierce competitor. Yeardley's friends described her as someone who, quote, saw the world through sunshine-colored glasses. She was compassionate, fun, and smart. By May of 2010, Yeardley Love was a college senior and star lacrosse player on the women's team at UVA. She majored in politics and minored in Spanish. And in just a few days, she was scheduled to play her final NCAA women's lacrosse tournament. She had just spent the last 4 years fulfilling her dream of playing lacrosse at the college of her dreams, finishing college and making plans for a bright future. She was just a few weeks away from graduation and planned to move to New York after college. Yeardley's friends and teammates became an extended family to her throughout her college years. Both the men's and women's lacrosse teams ran in tight circles on and off campus. As for Yeardley's love life, she had been in an on-again, off-again relationship for the last 2 years with fellow UVA student athlete George Huguely V. Huguely was also a star lacrosse player from the men's team who had attended the all-boys Landon School in Bethesda, Maryland before being accepted to UVA. George came from a prominent family in the affluent town of Chevy Chase, Maryland, just north of Washington, D.C. He came from a family with a long line of successful businessmen. Huguely was provided a life of privilege and affluence. He was introduced to lacrosse as a child and played most of his life. By the end of their senior year, the relationship had become tumultuous. Both parties had been unfaithful, and they fought often. It's widely understood that one of the most dangerous periods for domestic violence victims is after the relationship has ended, and by spring of 2010, Yeardley had grown tired of Huguely's drinking and bad behavior. She broke up with him and began to date other people, but the couple continued to see each other often. It was difficult not to. Yeardley and Huguely lived less than a block away from one another, each in an off-campus apartment on 14th Street in Charlottesville. They went to the same bars and ran in the same tight-knit friend group. In the weeks after the breakup, witnesses would tell police that Huguely's alcohol-fueled fits of violence had been escalating. Huguely allegedly punched a teammate for walking Yeardley home one evening in February that year, and witnesses told a disturbing story about a physical altercation between Yeardley and Huguely that required them to intervene. At the time, Huguely was nearly twice Yeardley's size, weighing approximately 200 pounds and stood 6'2". 2 inches tall. The night of the altercation, Huguely had been drinking heavily, and the couple got into an argument about text messages that Yeardley found on his phone. He put Yeardley in a chokehold and pinned her to the ground. Friends had to pull him off of Yeardley, and when she was finally free from his grip, she ran out of the apartment crying hysterically. After the incident, George wrote Yeardley a letter apologizing for how he treated her. It read, quote, "Yeardley, I cannot describe how sorry I am for what happened this past weekend. I am horrified with the way I behaved and treated you. I'm scared to know that I can get that drunk to the point where I cannot control the way I behave or act. I'm horrified to think that I was using physical force to keep you in my room. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry again and hope to talk with you when you feel you can. I can assure you, though, that I will never act as I did that Saturday night. I'm sorry again. Love, George." End quote.
Why did you guys break up exactly? Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, we are not from the same area.
Right.
And she wants to move to New York, and I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing yet, but I'd like to move to San Francisco. And so we've been talking about this. She found a text message in my phone from another girl, and then we broke up because of that.
That was it.
Sort of an ongoing type deal.
Because it's funny that you mentioned putting your hands around her neck and holding her back that way. Is there another reason why you two broke up? Any arguments? Any past physical violence? Okay, because keep in mind, before we've talked to you, we've talked to other people too.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
I mean, that night that she found the text messages in my phone, I was that night I was more drunk than I've probably ever been.
Right.
And she did the same thing, sort of yelling at me, hitting me while I'm drunk, and I actually laid on her and held her, detained her kind of, and she ended up leaving, but that happened that night.
How did you detain her?
I mean, sir, that night I was.
Did you let go of her yourself, or did other people have to come and get you off of her?
I'm not, I really don't remember that night at all.
Not at all?
No, not at all.
So maybe because you maybe smothered her a little bit that night, maybe you choked her a little bit?
No, I don't think I choked her. She never said I choked her. She said I laid on her and held her.
Right.
How
did you lay down on her?
She said I literally laid on her.
Was she face down and you laid on top of her, or?
I don't even know. We we've hung out since that night a bunch of times. Actually probably a dozen times since that night.
Right.
And we haven't really talked about that, but since that night, she's never said that I was choking her or anything. She said I literally laid on her and didn't let her.
She's about 105, 110 pounds soaking wet. You're almost double her size.
Yeah, probably.
You don't think that would maybe be enough to take the breath out of her if you're laying down on top of her?
I mean, I never thought about it like that, right. But I never hurt her.
Right.
On April 27th, 2010, Yeardley went to Huguely's apartment, and 2 women were in his room. She became angry and began hitting him with her purse and admitted to sleeping with a lacrosse player from the University of North Carolina.
How long y'all been dating?
For 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah, 2.5 years.
Okay. All right. Now, start with that last week. Did y'all break up last week?
We broke up a month ago, but it had been talking and hanging out and stuff.
Why'd you break up for?
And because we broke up because she wanted to, but was because she wasn't really sure about all this because we were both graduating, and she wants to move to New York and I want to move to San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was we don't really know, and she was sort of unsure about all of this. So we broke. So she was sort of broke it off slightly over a period of time. All right, well we shouldn't hang out anymore, but we were still hanging out and everything. And then, come a week ago, she went down to Carolina, and like, I don't know what happened there, but she told me what happened, which was that Wednesday night. She sends me a text message like, oh, I'm so glad, like, I'm so glad, like, I fucked so-and-so, you know? And so I didn't even respond to that. I was like, whatever, like.
She said she fucked somebody? Is that what you just said?
Hooked up, fucked, like, same thing. So I didn't even respond to that. Those were, like, text messages. And so I was like, Brian, like, to my roommate, like, look at this, like, this is fucked up. And didn't even respond. So went to the bar, like, saw her at the bar, actually. And she's, like, all, like, you know, like, fucked up. So I was talking to a buddy, and we were and like, she comes over. It was like my buddy, like, didn't even bother. And then I'm at home on my sofa, and she comes in the door like this, two of them with the same body as mine, the same body that was there earlier, and two girls that were visiting, deciding if they wanted to come here to school or not. And she walks in the door, opens the door, and comes over and just starts hitting me in the face. And I, like, got up, I was like, stop, like, you know, like, get off of me, like, leave me alone, like you can't, like, do this, you can't just, like, start doing this, like. And then I had basically had my roommate, girlfriend, who is friends with my girlfriend. I was like, yo, Liz, like, calling from her from the kitchen, like, get her out of here. Like, never, like, touched her, never struck her. I was just like, listen, like, you have to, like, stop hitting me. And she wouldn't stop, and she kept coming and kept coming.
This altercation and the admission that she had slept with someone else would set into motion a series of arguments that would lead to Yeardley's murder. As the days went on, the couple continued to communicate through email, since Yeardley's phone was lost after the contents of her purse spilled in the altercation. A series of angry emails were exchanged, and on April 30th, Huguely emailed Yeardley and said, quote, "This is so fucked up on so many levels. I should have killed you. I'm still in utter disbelief at everything that's happened recently and how you handled this," end quote. A few days later, on May 2nd, Huguely would start his morning off with a father-son golf tournament, where witnesses said they saw him drinking heavily since at least 9:30 a.m. Following the golf tournament, he went to dinner with his father and two of his lacrosse teammates, who recorded that he was so intoxicated he was slurring his words and spilled an entire bottle of wine at dinner before urinating in public on the side of the restaurant. One of his roommates would later testify in court that at 10:30 p.m. that night, he was still very drunk at their apartment.
Tell me about your day yesterday.
Played golf with our parents. It was a father-son. Good event. I mean...
Where was that at?
At Wintergreen.
Wintergreen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I went to dinner with my dad and my two buddies.
Where was that? Where did you?
I went to C&L.
Okay.
And then went home, went to the bar for like a little while. And
What time did you go out to eat?
The golf event ended at 5-ish, so we were probably back at, that was probably 7:30 with dinner.
Okay.
And then went home, I drank a few beers, I went to the bar for a little while. I went to Boylan Heights.
Well, okay.
Then I went over to talk to Yeardley.
As Yeardley's words festered in his mind that day, he continued to drink more and more. And the more he drank, the more agitated he became. The feeling that her actions were outrageous and that she wasn't taking accountability for what she had done to him was too much for him to bear. He had been slighted, and like a petulant child, he had to have the last word. He needed to go to her apartment and talk to her right then and there. At 11:40 p.m., two of his teammates left the apartment for approximately 15 minutes. When they returned, Huguely was gone. He returned at about 12:15, and his demeanor had changed. His teammate would testify in court Quote, I said, George, what's wrong with you? He looked at me and said nothing. He said that there was nothing wrong. I asked him. I continued to look at him and observe him. I asked him 2 more times. I said, George, what's wrong with you? Got no response. End quote. What had actually happened is that just before midnight, Huguely left his apartment on foot and walked the approximately 75 steps and 2 flights of stairs to Yeardley's apartment to confront her.
When I went over to talk to Yeardley, I was like, Yeardley, and she was like already totally freaked out because of what she did this past a few days ago, and we haven't talked since, and I was just gonna go talk to her. Mm-hmm. And she was already freaking out, you can't come in, you can't come in. And I was like, I'm just trying to talk to you. And she started being getting all really defensive against it, because the week before she came into my apartment and attacked and started striking me, and I was like, all right, you gotta leave, and had my roommate's girlfriend finally be like, all right, you take her out of there because of this. So when I went in to talk to her, because they've been away, we've been away, when I talked to her, she was already on the defensive edge, and I was like, listen, I'm not here to I'm just here to talk to you. And she got all sat up, her bed's against the wall, if it was in this corner, she was up against the wall, and I was we were sitting there talking, and she started being getting all aggressive after this. And so I was like, all right, chill out, and shook her a little bit, and she started being freaking out, and I was like, listen, I'm not here to do anything, I'm here to talk to you about everything that's ensued in the past week. And she was started being no, hitting her head, stop, she was in the corner, I was sitting on the bed, I was like, stop, and I was like, what the hell, we were just gonna talk, and it was not at all a good conversation, because that's she was already freaking out with just even seeing me there.
Now, let's take a step back here. If I was sleeping and my drunk ex-boyfriend came into my bedroom at midnight to talk to me, I'd be pretty defensive as well. Once inside the apartment, Huguely kicks open Yeardley's door so he could talk to her.
What happened next?
What happened next, and she kept hitting her head against the wall while she was sitting on the bed, and I was and I grabbed her and I shook her. I was like, stop, we need to and looked at her. I was like, we need to talk about this. And I was holding her arms and stuff, but I never struck her. I never hit her in the face or anything. I was just we need to talk. And she was so what's the word? Flopping a fish out of the water, all this, all because of what happened last week. And I was listen, I'm not here to fight with you or do anything, here to talk to you. And and she was no, get away from me, all this and that's what happened. I left, she was in her bed. I think her nose was bleeding a little bit, but she was in her when I left, she was still in her bed, and then she may have at one point she got on the floor, and we were talking. We were and she was still fighting. Actually, no, she went over to her desk, where the desk is, and she was you have to leave, 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 all this stuff. And I was all right, fine, but I want to talk to you after all this. And I was a little bit persistent because of the situation, my former girlfriend who something happened last week, and I was all right, well, so we were talking over there, and somehow we ended up somehow I was resting her on the floor, and I was just like, stop. I just like, and I was holding her, but I never struck her or anything. And I think that might have been when her nose started to bleed. Actually, it was when I was holding her on the floor, being like, listen, like, I'm like, you came and attacked me. Like, I wanted to talk to her about, you know, everything, because I got all like whatever, like text messages, like from her and all this stuff. And so that's when I was like holding her, but not forcefully. And then you know, then I guess that's when her nose might have started to bleed. It was when it rolled like that, like her face on the ground, and her nose started bleeding. And then the conversation, I could tell, was just like, it was not going anywhere and nothing was happening.
All right, so you go over there, knock on the door.
Her front door was open.
Mm-hmm.
Her room door was closed. I knocked like yardly, like she heard me open the door and went in.
All right, went in where?
To her room.
All right, straight to her bedroom.
Straight to her bedroom. Yeah, I mean.
How'd you get through the door?
Her door or the front door?
Her door.
Actually, it might have been locked.
Mm-hmm. It was.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Just be honest with me.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was locked. Yeah, because I think I put a hole.
Yeah, you punched a hole through the door.
Pretty sure, actually. Now, yeah, I used to have that. Yeah.
All right.
Pretty sure.
Why'd you do that?
Because I want to talk to her, because like, she's been sending me like emails.
Was she
like,
telling you to
dirty
leave,
emails.
or? She didn't want to talk to
I
you? What was
guess
she doing?
yeah. Once I was in her room, she was like very like, you know, like, or like, I'm not like, I don't want to talk to you, like all this stuff, like, you know.
What was she wearing?
What was she wearing? I think she was in her bed. She was in her underwear and t-shirt.
Okay. All right, so
I
you
never
get in there, she's in
struck
her.
her.
Okay,
I
I'm not saying you do that. I'm just trying to picture
Yeah,
it all
no, I
in my head,
understand,
okay?
but like,
All right, so she's in her bed, t-shirt and underwear, you say?
yeah.
Okay. Light on, light off?
Light off. I'm pretty sure she was like, this was like around, probably I want to say like 12:45-ish.
Okay.
So she was like either asleep or like, you know, doing something. And so I went in there to talk to her, and she was very like, you know, very on edge, like, I don't want to talk, like, I don't want to talk, like, you know.
Okay.
I was like, listen, like, what you pulled last week was outrageous. Like, I just want to talk to you. And
Why'd you punch the door then?
because I want to talk to her.
All right, well, continue on. That's fine, continue on. So you're talking to her and she doesn't want to talk to you?
Not really. I mean, we talked though. Like, there was parts where we were talking, and then like.
Do you know what you're talking about?
I mean, about so many different things.
Okay. Like what?
Like what she did last week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, went to like Carolina, how she attacked me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like she went to Carolina and hooked up with someone Sunday when we were still trying to figure out things. Came over, attacked me on Tuesday.
Okay.
You know, and I'm just sitting like, and I was over there like to talk. Like, I was like, this is outrageous. Like, I mean, and because I was trying to make everything better, and then like, you know. Oh, she's like in the corner. If her bed's like, if her bed would push all the way back, like in the corner, like, you know, like, and I'm pretty sure that she was very defensive because she knew like how upset I was, because I've told her like through emails like how upset I was like about what she did, and about Tuesday night for like coming in and starting to strike me. And so I was like, and I sat on the edge of her bed. I was like, listen, like, I want to talk to you, like what you did was bullshit. Like, that's not like okay. Like,
So you're pretty upset, pretty angry.
Yeah, I was more like emotional than I would say angry.
Okay. You're hurting.
And I was just like, and she's like not like, you know, she's like, you know, sort of pushing everything that she did to the back burner and like talking about like you know like trying to like put everything that she did like wasn't important. And like, you know, we talked and she like kept getting like, and then she kept saying things like, oh, well, like, you know, like, I mean, what she was saying stuff like, well, like, I don't trust you, like, or stuff like that. And I was, and it kept going to the point where she, like, I was like, listen, like, we have to figure, like, out what's going on. And she was like, I'm not talking to you. And then she like pushed me, like, get out of here, like go. And I was like, no. And like I was like, be like, we have to talk, like, so like get like.
When you're doing that, what are you holding on her?
On her arms.
On her arms, like maybe up here.
Like shoulders, yeah.
Shoulders.
Like be like okay. Yeah, like never like never like, you know. I mean, if I could like. Show you.
No, it's all right.
I know, but like,
up her arms.
Like, come on, like, you know, and that's when she was like wiggle and like get away and like, you know, like hide get in the corner, like really like aggressive, like defensively almost. And then we like wrestled on the ground the same way. Her nose started bleeding. And then she ended. I think she was back in bed, and I left. I was like, this is not going anywhere.
How did she get back in bed?
We were like wrestling, and we stood up, and I tossed her. I pushed her onto the bed. I was like, go to bed. Like, I'll talk to you later. I'm like, I didn't like throw her, but like we were like standing up at this point after we were wrestling on the ground. She had like a bloody nose. And I was like, go to bed.
Okay. And you kind of tossed her on the bed and you left?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you go back and check on her at any point?
No, I did not.
Okay. Did you touch her neck area at all? Did you choke her at one point?
I may have grabbed her a little bit by the neck when we were like, but I never like strangled her.
Okay.
But I mean, during the whole like commotion, you know, like I might have grabbed her neck, but I never was like strangling her.
Okay, all right.
It's clear that as Huguely is talking to investigators, he has real gaps in his memory because of the drinking. But some of what he said minimized his actions, and detectives were suspicious that Huguely wasn't being honest about his intentions that night. Something else that was a red flag for detectives was that Yeardley's laptop was missing from her apartment. They theorized that Huguely may have taken the laptop because of emails that he wrote to Yeardley saying he should have killed her.
When you left her apartment, did you take anything with you?
No,
nothing at all.
She was in her bed.
All right. Because I think we're not. Her laptop is missing, I guess. Did you grab it for any reason?
Yeah, I did actually.
You did. Okay. Is it at your apartment?
Yeah, okay. Somewhere in my apartment. I can give it to her.
Why'd you grab her laptop?
Because I was so pissed that she wouldn't talk to me. I was like, I don't know. I like took it almost as like collateral, I guess. I don't know. It's not reasonable logic, but
right. Okay.
I don't know.
Did you take anything else besides your laptop?
No.
Nothing.
No.
Okay.
I mean.
All right. So when you left out of there, I mean, you saw that she was bleeding on her nose. Did you try to call rescue or anything to make sure she was all right?
No, I did not.
No. Why?
I didn't think it was like I didn't think that she was like in need of like going to the emergency room. She just got a blood.
What do you think that?
I don't know. I mean,
Did you say when you were, and correct me if I'm wrong, when you were shaking her head was hitting the wall?
Well, that was in the beginning. That was initially when I walked in. Like she was like up in the corner, like get out of here, like, you know, like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
at any time when you were shaking her, did her head bang the wall? Did you shake her into the wall? I know you already said you didn't punch her and stuff.
I wasn't like throwing her into the wall. Like, I mean, we were sitting on her bed, which is against the wall, and I was like, And I was like, you're like, and like, I mean, maybe, like, I wasn't hitting her against the wall, but like, when she's like sitting there in the corner of like, if it were or like this, and I'm like, you're like, you know, and I was like, what the fuck was that about? Like, that's such bullshit that you like do that, like, you know, I mean, possibly, I was like, you know, that's such a like bullshit move, like, would like, you know, like, ever like hitting her, like, what are you like doing, like that, like.
Okay. She has a pretty good knot on her head. That's why I'm asking how you can explain how that would have happened.
I mean, I don't even know when that a knot. I mean,
like on the side of her head, she's been hit pretty good right there. So I'm just trying to figure out, did you hit her with something?
no,
Was that her head into the wall?
never touched her or struck her or anything.
Well, you touched her. You had your hands on her.
You know, I said never struck her.
Okay.
Never at all. Like.
Well, I'm trying to figure out why she's got
why.
a black eye and why she's got a big lump right there.
I mean, we were. I mean, I don't
So
know.
you never
I don't
hit her
know.
with anything?
I don't know
Is
how.
that what you're saying? You never hit
I don't know how.
with anything.
So she's got a.
So okay. All right. No, that's fine. That's
yeah.
fine. All right. We've been through what all happened. When did you leave? Right after you went out the front door?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Home.
Straight home?
Yeah.
Talk to anybody?
No.
Call anybody?
No.
Call. You said she didn't have a phone, right?
She doesn't have a phone. No.
Is her phone at your house?
Me and my roommate have looked for her phone, and my roommate's girlfriend has looked for her phone. We have no. I mean, it's not at our apartment.
Okay. So, but you pick up her computer on the way out the bedroom, right?
Yeah.
Anything else? Did you take?
No.
Nothing.
Not.
Where are we going to find the computer at?
The computer is. I mean, the dumpster maybe.
So you threw her computer in the dumpster?
Yeah. The one right by 14th Street.
Okay.
The one, no, not the one right by 14th Street. It is the one right by the point.
By the point?
There's an apartment
Called the point, yeah.
And on the way home, I just tossed it in there. I walked over there, tossed it in there, and walked home.
Okay.
That's where the computer is.
All right. Did you toss anything else in there that we need to know
No,
about?
no.
Okay. So what do you do once you get home?
I just went to bed.
Anybody else home?
No.
No?
After returning to his apartment, his teammate testified that Huguely had kind of a blank stare on his face and that he had lied about where he had been, claiming he'd been drinking with a Lacrosse teammate. But that teammate denied seeing Huguely and stated that he'd been studying that evening. At about 2:15 a.m., Yeardley's roommate came home from a local bar with another UVA student. She decided to go check on Yeardley and found her lying face down in a pool of blood in her pillow. She had a severe injury to her eye, cuts all over her face, and was completely unresponsive. They called 911 immediately and performed CPR on Yeardley until paramedics arrived. Yeardley was pronounced dead at the scene. Her official cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head, but her injuries were extensive. At trial, the medical examiner reported bruising to her cheek and eye, cuts in her inner cheek, possibly from smothering or a strike or fall, bruises to her hands, forearm, buttocks, and thighs. And some of the bruising was in the shape of fingerprints, and she had hemorrhaging to the neck and brain. At this point in the interview, Huguely still thinks he's being detained on assault charges. He doesn't realize that Yeardley is actually dead.
We never mentioned anything to her, to her face, and you constantly bringing up that you didn't punch her in the face.
No, I know.
We never even asked you that question.
I know. I mean,
Did you maybe at least smack her?
No.
Hey, snap out of it or something like that?
No.
What's wrong with you?
I did not. No,
Nothing like that?
I never. No. I mean, I'm in here for assault charges.
Right.
That's why.
No, I never told you were.
Yeah,
We
someone
had
said,
any warrants on you.
Right.
I know, but
So you're
someone
being
said we're
detained right
here
now,
for an
okay?
assault investigation.
Right.
That's why I'm.
Have you ever threatened any harm to her?
No.
Why'd you take her computer?
I don't know. I have no idea.
There's maybe because there's evidence on the computer, emails that you sent.
No, there's no. I mean, you can read all the emails and
Right.
everything back and forth. Like,
There's no threats. There's not going to be anything on that computer that we're going to bring up forensically that came from George saying, hey, you know what?
No.
I found out that you're cheating on me.
no.
Nothing like that.
Nothing.
Why'd you take that computer then?
I mean, you can look at my computer, the same emails that are on my computer, on her computer. And emails are on the internet, like, it's not like her email account is erased because I took her computer. I have no idea why I took her computer. Probably because she was, like, not talking to me and not, like, you know, like, she, like, did all this stuff and I just walked out of there with the computer. It's like my collateral almost, if you could look at it like that. I mean, I guess that's where my logic was at, but that, which is...
Well, I have to tell you something.
Well, I think I know why you took the computer.
Why do you think?
You
Go ahead,
all right?
go ahead.
You know?
There
She's dead. You killed her, George. You killed her.
She's dead?
I think you knew that already.
No, I did not. She's dead? How the fuck is she dead?
Because you killed her, George.
How the fuck is she dead?
Because you killed her.
Oh my god.
We're not here for any reason, George.
She's dead?
Yes.
She's dead.
Yes.
She's dead.
She's dead.
How? How?
I already told you how. You already told us how as well.
How is she dead?
You just told us.
How is she dead? How is she dead? I didn't strangle, I didn't fucking hit her. How the fuck? I don't even know, She's dead.
Yes.
How the fuck is she dead? Oh my god.
We're serious, George. And that's why you took the computer, isn't it?
No.
Because you had threats to kill her on that from a past email. Because she hooked up with a player from UNC.
I said that, I never, like, that was just like, the heat of the moment. It was the heat of the moment, yeah.
Last night was heat of the moment too, wasn't it? You went in there to talk with her, but it got out of control, right, George? The alcohol got a hold of you. You kicked in her door. She started to fight with you. You punched her in the head, or you cracked.
She's not dead.
You cracked her head.
Dead.
You cracked her head in the window or in the wall.
Not dead.
She is.
She's not dead.
I ain't BSing you right now. It's serious.
I want to see her. She's
George,
not
look
dead.
at me.
George.
She is dead.
You were not here to dance with us. You're here because she's dead. The alcohol.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
It's true.
Dude, I didn't hurt
George,
her.
listen to me.
I didn't hurt her.
Listen to me. You probably didn't mean to hurt her.
I didn't hurt her.
You went in there, you kicked the door, she got a little feisty. You either punched her or you smacked her head into the concrete, and then you held her down on the pillow because that's what
No, I
you
didn't hit her on the pillow. I was never on the bed.
Okay, then.
I never held her down. I never suffocated. I never did anything. I don't believe that she's dead. I don't believe that she's dead. I don't believe that she's dead.
Did you punch her? Did you hit her?
There's no way she's dead. She's not dead. I never did anything like this, like that she could be dead.
Listen to me.
She's not dead.
Did you punch her or did
No, I never, no.
Did you hold her head into the wall? Did you crack it?
No.
Did you
Is her head cracked?
Did you smack her head in the wall?
No, she's not dead. She's not dead. You guys said she has a black eye and a bump on her head.
She has those things.
But she's not dead. I did not.
All right, let's calm down.
I did not like hurt her. Like she's not dead.
Let him calm down. Calm down a minute, George. Okay.
Tell me she's not dead. Tell me she's not dead.
I want you to calm down right now. Okay. All right.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I never did anything that could do that to her.
Well, let's calm
I
down.
never did anything that could do that to her. I swear to God, I never did anything that could do that to her. I never. No, I don't. I refuse to believe that she's dead because there's no way that anything that happened last night could kill her. Tell me she's not dead. Tell me she's not dead, though, please. Will you tell me she's not dead?
Relax.
Please, will you tell me
You know what? I
dead?
wish I could tell you that, George. 22-year-old. 22. And her life is done.
Oh my God, kill me. She can't be that.
She
She can't be that. She's not. I did not do anything like that. I did not do anything that could have killed her.
You do realize you're under arrest.
I realize that.
All right, we're going to consult the Commonwealth Attorney on the proper charge, but it's going to be related to her death. Make sure you understand.
She's dead.
Okay.
She's not. Hell, there's no way. Oh my God, there's no way she could be dead. There's no way. Oh my God. There's no way, there's no way, there's no way.
George Huguely V was placed under arrest and charged with first-degree murder. Huguely pled not guilty to all charges, hired a pair of private defense attorneys, and stood trial for the murder of Yeardley Love in February 2012. The trial lasted just over 2 weeks, beginning on February 6, 2012 through February 22, 2012. Over 60 witnesses were called by the Commonwealth of Virginia, and the jury deliberated for 9 hours before returning a verdict. The case was highly publicized, but cameras were not allowed in the courtroom. Huguely was convicted of the lesser charge of second-degree murder and grand larceny. Second-degree murder requires a finding of malice, but not premeditation, which is what is required for a first-degree conviction. After Yeardley's murder, students gathered in the UVA campus amphitheater for a candlelight vigil to honor her life, and her mother, Sharon Love, started the One Love Foundation, a nonprofit organization that provides education and resources to end relationship abuse. Yeardley Love lost her life to an abusive partner. She and her murderer both came from good homes. They were star athletes with strong support systems. Domestic abuse can happen anywhere and to anyone, but it doesn't have to go unnoticed. Yeardley's memory lives on through the One Love Foundation, and each year helps bring awareness to issues of domestic violence. Links to the One Love Foundation and the National Domestic Violence Hotline can be found in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and as always, please subscribe to be notified when new episodes are released. And if you love the show, share it on social media and leave a 5-star rating and review. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.